What up, y'all? So I'm gonna show y'all some tricks I've managed to figure out for doing video editing without actually using an editor. Um, this workflow is kind of a work in progress, so this isn't gonna show like the whole thing because I ain't really got the whole thing figured out yet. But it'll allow you. It's gonna show you some tricks you can do that I think normally require an editor, or even some of the things I'm about to do. I don't even really think you can do them in most editors. So we're going to take a look at a recording that my wife sent me of her making a design in Animal Crossing. So we're going to go to, was it videos? Boom. Yeah, that. So we have this little recording of her making a Overwatch beanie in Animal Crossing. So we're just going to look at that real fast to see what we're working with. She's doing no emotes at the start, so we're just gonna kind of skip through this. Okay, now she's starting. I'm just gonna kind of skip through it, see what's going on here. Okay, done. So, from skipping through this, I've identified essentially 3 parts that are relevant to me that I would like to cut out separately to be able to do stuff with. Because the goal is I want to take this recording and make different kind of format a little differently to put it on different platforms. So, maybe I could just take the creation part, put it on, YouTube to show as like a just a making of design. People usually like those. Maybe take that same creation process and reduce it down to a, say, 10 or 15-second snippet as like a time lapse, and put it on something like TikTok or Instagram. So normally, if you wanted to cut out a section of this video to use, you would have to, open up whatever video editor you use, and then kind of actually use the GUI to cut it out. But if we're using Ffmpeg, we actually don't need to do that. So first thing I need to do is identify where the creation process starts. So let's go back to this, let it play for a second. Okay, looks like it's about to, okay, 15 seconds. That's important to remember, 15 seconds. So the creation process starts at 15 seconds, and it went pretty far. Let's go. Okay, let's go back here. She's saving it. She's naming it. Give me a sec. I'm just gonna let this play out so I can see where I'm trying to get to. Okay, so 1551 looks like the ending timestamp. So we're gonna close that. Now, here's what you can do with Ffmpeg. So Ffmpeg, can't spell. -I for input. The input is the beanie .mp4. Now, if you, for the output portion of the Ffmpeg command, if you want it to only start outputting the video after a certain point, you do -ss, and you see it's got a history of whenever I was messing with this. So this is going to be the timestamp of where it actually starts actually writing this particular section of the video out to another file. So 00 hour, 00 minute, 15 seconds. And I want the exit timestamp to be 00 hour, 15 minutes, 51 seconds. And for the video portion of this, for the codec, I just want to copy it for both of these. Now, what copying the codec will do is it doesn't have to re-encode the video or the audio. That's usually what makes rendering a video take a while, is it has to re-encode every single frame and every single section of the audio. But if you're copying it, it actually doesn't have to do that. So call it beanie. This was the creation part. Beanie creation.mp4. Now, I tested this, extracting this section out on DaVinci Resolve. When I went to render this on DaVinci Resolve, this particular section of the video, it took about 15 minutes. So I'm going to let this run, and this probably really shouldn't take very long. So you see it's already gone through 6 minutes. This probably won't take longer than 30 seconds maybe. Let's see, 10 minutes. I would say I would just cut back to this, but this is not going to take very long at all. So I'm just going to let y'all actually watch the process. Okay, look at that. That took 20 seconds. 20 seconds versus like 15, 20 minutes. So let's take a look at that, shall we? MP for creation. And would you look at that? It has just specifically the creation part of it. See, isn't that nice? Isn't that so much better than waiting fucking 15 minutes just to get this one little section out? Now, before I cut the other two sections out, I may want to change this is like kind of like the important part. So I may want to make some tweaks to it in certain areas. So one of the things I would like to do is whenever basically anybody's working on anything that requires thought, art, problem solving, there will be a lot of times where nothing's happening in the video, and it looks like nothing's happening. From my kind of learning about video terminology and editing, that's typically what you call frozen frames. They're called frozen frames because even though the video is playing, it looks like the video is frozen. But it's not, it's just nothing's happening. And I wanted to find out if there was a way to either just detect those frames or just outright remove them. And apparently, Ffmpeg has a filter that can analyze a video stream and detect when a sequence of frames has not changed a certain amount. You can actually adjust the sensitivity, but I've actually just never even used that at all. I've just kind of used it as is, and it works fine. But the name of the filter is such that unless you went digging around on the Ffmpeg filter documentation, you wouldn't know this is what it does. So what this thing is called, if I open up a script I have, and let's see, local bin scripts decimate video. So you'll see here there is a filter called MP decimate. MP decimate is what will remove any sequence of frames except the first where it all looks like the same thing's happening. That second filter called set PTS, the PTS part stands for presentation timestamps, which is what a video player actually uses on the frames to know which frames to display. So what it's doing is it's removing all the basically dead frames, nothing's happening, and then adjusting the presentation timestamps on everything else so it doesn't look like a jittery mess. It just looks like there was nothing there before. The way I have this right now, if I do this process, it rips the audio out. But considering I'm generally using this for something like a time lapse, I'm going to layer my own music over it anyway, so that's fine. So I'm gonna exit. Oh, go away. What are you doing? I'm gonna exit this. Now, if I do decimate video on the Overwatch Beanie creation, and let's see, I'm gonna have it go out to Beanie create, I can't spell today, creation decimated.mp4. Now, this is probably going to take a while because it has to parse over every single frame in the video. So I will be right back once this is done. And we are back and the process is done. Now, before I actually show you this, something that's I usually like to look at after I do this is I have this little program here called Media Info, which will give you the metadata about a audio file or about a media file. So if we took a look at the original Beanie creation file, you will see that it is 15 minutes and 35 seconds. So if we check the decimated, I can't spell, decimated, the decimated version, holy crap, that's not 15 minutes now. Now that's barely over a minute. So what does that mean? So let's look at the original Overwatch Beanie creation one again one more time. So we're just gonna watch this for a second, and you'll see even like right here, there are these spots where she's sitting there thinking about what she's doing and nothing's actually happening, right? And this happens quite frequently a number of times. So let's take a note here. So I'm gonna stop this here right about now. So 23 seconds into this version, we were just now see what filled in space and put in like a little white spot. If we look at the the decimated version, you are going to see a significant difference. Okay, so look how much faster this is. We're all the downtime is gone. This is just pure action, basically. No, there is no dead time now on this. So this would be really good to work with if you wanted to make a time lapse out of it. Because see, we're at 23 seconds again now, and this thing's already like, what, like a fifth of the way done or something? So this next step is basically as far as I've gotten with this process, but I think it's also probably one of the more interesting things I've figured out to do. So I have this cleaned up version of the creation process. I want to make a time lapse out of it. Let's say I want to reduce it down to like a specific duration. Well, I basically figured out a way to sort of do that. So if we go to local, let's see, local bin. So no, I put another script, Timelapseify. Did I not do that right? No, I didn't do that right. I forgot that. Local bin script Timelapseify. So this looks similar to the other script where I'm using that set PTS thing, but you'll notice rather than having a static number here, it's using the output of another script called get frame rate. So what the hell is get frame rate? Well, let's take a look, shall we? It is in local bin, that's not bin, script get frame rate. So this is using a flag you can pass in the media info to get a specific piece of information from the file, from the media file. And I was interested in specifically the total number of frames in the video. So because what I figured out is that I can dynamically set what the timestamps are in the video file if I take the number of total frames in the entire video and divide it by the duration I want it to be in seconds, because if you look at that mathematically, that will give you frames per second. And I basically just pipe that into this little calculator program to use, and this is, I think it's used to make so it actually uses like floating points, like up to like a large amount. And what that will essentially do is take the input video and drop frames to the point where the duration becomes what the duration is that I specified. So let's take a look at what that would look like. So we're going to do Timelapseify on the Overwatch Beanie decimated. Did I? No. Oh, wait. Decimated. No, wait. That's not right. Creation decimated. Okay. And the output to be Overwatch Beanie creation. So let's make a 10-second version of it. Let's see what a 10-second version of this looks like. And let's say it's something that I would put on TikTok, so I can put maybe like a little intro and a little outro in front to pad the remaining 5 seconds. So I'm just going to tall TikTok.mp4. And so the duration is 10 seconds. So this probably shouldn't take very long because it's only like a minute and 50 seconds long video. Something like that. But this seems like it's taking a lot longer than I thought it would. I will be right back once this is done. And I'm back again, and you will see that I have checked the metadata on the output of this, and now it says 10 seconds. So let's see what the 10-second version of this looks like. So keep in mind, it dropped a bunch of frames in order for it to get to be 10 seconds. So it's going to be kind of like looking through a flip book of what we had before, and which initially when I was messing with this, I didn't think I wanted, but after I've done this now, it's fine. So we're going to run this. See, isn't that interesting? This was all made without me ever touching an editor. Something else I would probably do for the YouTube version is, even the undecimated version, I wouldn't probably leave like the untouched 15-minute version. I would probably actually just run that one through the Timelapseify thing to make it like 10 minutes. So that way there is some downtime, but not a lot. So let's recap what I've managed to do here without actually opening a video editor. I have cut out a snippet of a video that I wanted to do other processing with. I have removed all of the dead frames so that all you get is basically action going on in the actual video. And I've managed to take that and reduce it down to any duration time lapse that I wanted in order to use it on other platforms. Moving forward, I would like to be able to, I'm going to have a separate like intro and outro that I've created for like different platforms, both for my channel and her channel, and figure out how to like combine the input of different video and audio streams so that I could probably do most of what I need to do without actually touching a video editor. The one other thing I would like to figure out how to do for when I go on my little rant videos is automatically detect and remove any sections of silence, because if you've watched any of my rant videos so far, sometimes my brain takes a shit and I sit there going like for a couple seconds, and that's very tedious to have to do that, to go through an editor and pick out all the silent parts and remove them. So if that's something else I could just pipe into an Ffmpeg filter and have it done, that would be great. So that's all I got for this video today. If you like this, leave me a like and subscribe down below. Leave a comment if you had any questions about any part of this. I have a couple of social links down below now if you want to take a gander at those. It's mostly Twitter. I made a Discord for the channel now if you want to look at it too. In the future, I might start doing something where I like put little like helpful snippets of information on other platforms, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Y'all come on back now and I'll see you next time.